Justin Jefferson would be one of the worst overall first picks you can possibly take.
What makes you say that?
There's just no need to. There's just no need to take him. He might be my avoid in the first round, Justin Jefferson.
Why? All the guy does is
marks.
produce. All he does is produce.
Sam Darnold is a starting quarterback. That's just an accident waiting to happen. It's just an accident waiting to happen. You have no trust. J.J. McCarthy hasn't played an NFL down. There's just no need to cross that bridge with the number. Why? I mean, the number. You should be shot. You should be shot. Who would you take with the number one overall pick if you were drafting today?
Well, obviously, it's very easy to say Christian McCaffery.
After 2 excellent years.
But I'm actually going to go with a different young running back, another well-rounded threat, a guy on the East Coast, Breece Hall.
With the number one overall pick,
Breece Hall, because I think that with Aaron Rodgers healthy and in place, you're going to get those little dump-off passes. You're also going to get the big break-off runs that he gets. I just see a healthy year for a guy like Breece Hall. I think he's coming into his own second or third year in the league. And you want to be on the upswing with picking these first-round running backs. You don't want to just be taking the guy like, because Christian McCaffrey's been on a Hall of Fame track his entire career. But he also gets banged up. You know, he's got a lot of tread on those tires.
He does. A lot of touches the last 2 years.
I'm kind of like still stuck in the, as you like to say, 90s with wanting to take a Breece Hall. But it is really tough not to take like a Justin Jefferson or something like that.
Well, Justin Jefferson would be one of the worst overall first picks you can possibly take.
What makes you say that?
There's just no need to. There's just no need to take him. He might be my avoid in the first round, Justin Jefferson.
Why? All the guy does is produce. All he does is produce.
Sam Darnold is a starting quarterback. That's just an accident waiting to happen. It's just an accident waiting to happen. You have no trust. J.J. McCarthy hasn't played an NFL down. There's just no need to cross that bridge with the number. Why? I mean, the number. You should be shot. You should be shot for taking Justin Jefferson first. You should just not take him. You just can't take him first overall.
Okay.
You can't.
So you're telling me that you know for sure, right here, sitting here on June 27th, that Justin Jefferson is not going to be.
I don't know for sure, but do I have some sort of hesitance to take him, being that we don't know who his quarterback is? We don't know that his quarterbacks can produce? The answer is yes, so I would not take him. No, number one overall is diabolical.
So Christian McCaffery, who's coming up against 30 years old when running backs totally drop off a cliff. Also, Shanahan loves to spread the ball around and get touches to his other running backs. Who
Does he?
In past years,
he hasn't the last 2 years.
Haven't been healthy. Were any of his secondary guys healthy?
And we're talking about Elijah Mitchell is not going to break the bank.
Okay.
Now, I do have a concern with some Christian McCaffrey. I do have some concerns with Christian McCaffrey. And as much as I want to, give the cliche answer and go with the rest of...
you just want to pick chalk. You just want to come up
here
and have a whole video about saying, take Christian McCaffrey, the cover of the Madden. He's a great football player. He's a tremendous player.
He is a tremendous player.
No one denies that.
The concern I have with Christian McCaffrey, and I do agree with you, is there any injury scare coming into a season when he has back-to-back 350-plus touch seasons, coming up on 30?
Right.
Is there a % chance, or is there a better chance that he gets injured than a younger, less run-down back in Bijan Robinson or Breece Hall? The answer is probably yes.
Yeah. Or, I mean, even...
And if you look at Christian McCaffrey's career, 3 years he was healthy, 2 years off when he pretty much missed the whole season, and now 2 years, the back-to-back years, finishing as number one running back healthy. So is he due for an injury?
Probably, and honestly...
Now, I don't like using that basis for taking a player, but in the first pick, do you consider it?
Yeah, especially if you're going to say that you need to be safe in round one, which I actually think you make a lot of good points in saying that.
You have to be safe.
But then why not take a Jamar Chase, a Justin Jefferson, a Tyreek Hill, CeeDee Lamb?
Yeah.
Those are the guys that, have less of an injury risk, arguably, than...
Well, it's a fact that running backs get hurt more than receivers. And if you look at the running backs drafted in the first round last year, you're talking about Christian McCaffrey. You probably won your league, or you were very good if you had him. Austin Eckler, season over. Saquon Barkley, season over. Bijan Robinson, season over.
Saquon Barkley was pretty good the second half
of the year. Season over. Nick Chubb, season over. So if you drafted in the top 8 last year and you took a running back outside of McCaffrey, your season was probably over, just because you reached for a running back.
Yeah.
And your season was over.
That's the danger of it, you know what I mean? And also, I'll say this, that I think you talk about some wide receivers that are very touchdown dependent, but probably not as much those top guys. Running backs almost always end up being touchdown dependent. So you're taking a lot of risk just on something totally random.
So for me, gun to head right now, if you pointed a shotgun at my head, I think I'm going to go with Tyreek Hill.
Okay.
We're talking about a guy that's never been hurt in his career.
Right.
8 years playing in the league, never missed more than 2 games. He's always produced, and he's always finished as a wide receiver 1. And for that, I just think there is really no risk. He's shown that he could do it with Tua. Even if Tua takes a step back this year, you know what you're getting from Tyreek Hill. You know he's going to produce. You know there's minimal to no injury risk. And you know you're not going to lose your draft in round 1 by taking Tyreek Hill. You plug and play him every week. You have minimal to no injury concerns. I take Tyreek Hill today if I'm drafting. Now, am I farming engagement? Maybe a little bit, because it's tough to take him over McCaffrey.
You think?
Being over the last 2 years that McCaffrey's just been a league winner. But there is a better chance that Christian McCaffery gets hurt than Tyreek Hill, and for that, I'm taking Tyreek Hill with the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah, and just with everything that you just said about, a Nick Chubb, you want to go back further than that, Jonathan Taylor, all this kind of, the injury risk.
It's too much, man. Too many touches.
It's always a running back.
And you're always getting hit.
You're so tempted by the, guy who catches passes, rips off long runs, scores touchdowns. I get it. I understand. But for that same reason, you say Tyreek Hill, I'll say Justin Jefferson.
Okay, well, if you take Justin Jefferson, your season's over. But
your season's over already.
Why?
Because of the picks you made after Tyreek Hill, they were terrible. I'm looking at it now. They were just terrible picks. So.
All right, well, that's it. Number 1 overall pick. I always say in the first round, you want to be safe. It's better to be safe and sorry in round 1. I've dumbed down fantasy football now. We always get into the analytics, touch, age, all that crap.
Look, keep thinking you got to be safe. I'll take the risks, and I'll win the championship.
There's just no need to take a risk in round 1. There's just no need to, man. There's just no need to. Not in round 1.
Take risks.